my word to describe entrepreneurship would be toxic, like a toxic relationship.
I have no family here, no siblings, no friends, no boyfriend or husband.
And the price is going to double. And I was like, oh my God, that's going to kill my company.
I went almost bankrupt twice in the last 11 years of being in business.
Are we ready to get pretty? Have me ugly.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bichen Wu, founder of Defiant, a science-powered skincare and wellness brand. But Defiant is more than a brand, it's a mindset, the courage it takes to build something meaningful on your own terms. That's exactly what these 4 founders embody.
Great. Welcome, welcome. So now let's dive in. We have truly a very diverse array of speakers, panelists here. So, first question, lightning round. Can you tell us your name, your brand in 30 seconds and 1 word to describe your founder's journey?
Okay, I'll go first then. First of all, hello. Is it okay? Thank you so much, you guys, for coming. I'm very honored.
I'm Icy Rung PT, founder of Starla Skin. Starla is pioneering med spa-like light therapy treatment for your skin rejuvenation. I came from a family of med spa. My cousin is a dermatologist who pioneered med spa business since 20 years ago, so I grew up with the business, and also personally I struggle with acne-prone hypersensitive skin while watching my mom struggling with hyperpigmentation. We always have to rely on med spa, that the business took it to public in Thailand, took it to more than 70 chains in Thailand, and exiting with private equity for 4.5 billion Thai baht. Then everything collapsed after the selling because of COVID-19. Including the med spa, everything had to shut down. Then I have a need to treat my skin. And I was inspired, why not turn med spa-like treatments to home? And that's when the concept of Starla Skin comes from. Now we're building out of MIT and Harvard to pioneer the world's first intelligent LED light therapy face mask to the market.
It's really hard to go after you. Mine's a little bit straightforward in a sense where I built a company called Dill Lashes. Sorry, my name is Jason Wan. I built a company called Dill Lashes about 7 years ago. I was set out to create the world's most comfortable eyelashes. And you're probably wondering, what does this guy know about eyelashes? The truth is, I knew nothing about eyelashes when I started, but I was a product designer. I love making products. I've launched 11 other brands before that. Some won, some failed, but I gave myself this challenge to start this company with $500. And so with $500 turned into $1 million the first year, $2 million the next year, and so on and so forth. Purely just by building a product that I felt like our customers wanted and the market needed. I found that a lot of lashes on the market, just from my observations, were really uncomfortable. They poke your eyes, they make your eyes look droopy. So I was like, wait, there is probably a good way to solve that. So I went into it from an engineering perspective rather than from a beauty perspective, and that's how Dill Lashes was born. A single word to describe our entrepreneur journey would be resilience. I think it was very, very challenging in the beginning to use only $500, even though that was self-imposed. I just wanted to see if I can do something with $500. But over the years, a lot of hardships happened, supply chain, tariffs, product trends, but we're still here, and I think that's what makes us great.
I forgot to describe.
I think 1 word that describes my founder journey would be grit. Although I came from a family background of business, but no one in Thailand actually supported me here. Not my family, I have no family here, no siblings, no friends, no boyfriend or husband. I came here alone with a mission to democratize dermatology. So I have to start here from scratch because no one in Thailand want me to be abroad alone like this, hustling here. And I would describe myself 1 word as grit.
Hi, my name is Mara Minogu. I'm Nigerian. I'm 10 years in. I have a fragrance company, and the goal of that fragrance company is to create a soft line of fragrances that complement and don't overpower. Like Jason and like Icy, my word to describe my brand is resilient. I almost lost my business this year, but got back up. Well, we're going to get into the ugly of that. And that's me in a nutshell.
Hi, I'm Jadis. I'm the founder and CEO of Motivo Scar Care. We create scar care products to help diminish the appearance of old and new scars. And I was laughing before because I said after today I felt like my word to describe entrepreneurship would be toxic, like a toxic relationship. You know, it's nice to you sometimes, it's mean to you sometimes, and you always want to fix it and problem solve, and you love to be there. So, but it's also humbling.
And I feel like even today's event, you know, with us anxiously waiting, all the 100 people show up who signed up, showing up, fixing the mic, you know, waiting and, you know, trying to fit in. It's all scrappy, right? And that's the spirit, and that's why we want to have this ugly talk. So, you know, let's start with the first question. You know, I want to just go back to the very beginning. When is the aha moment for you guys to, you know, choose to build the brand? Perhaps let's start with Jadis this time.
So I chose to start my brand after a personal experience. I actually transitioned from female to male, and I got top surgery, and the aftercare to top surgery was to wear scar care products. I tried multiple different brands and had varying negative experiences with each brand, and from there I just chose to stop wearing the products, and that resulted in my scars stretching, becoming keloided, and very like painful and irritating to deal with. So ultimately, after a few different interventions like prescription meds and injections at the scar site, I had to get a second surgery. And the follow-up care to the second surgery was to wear scar care products. And I was just really concerned that I was going to have to keep going in circles with this, and I expressed that to the plastic surgeon who did my surgery, and he said that you just kind of had to make it work because, you know, I mean, you have to use the products, and he understood a lot of their patients dealt with similar issues. And that's kind of when the light bulb went off, and I was like, you know, there's got to be a better way, or a way to make better products. And it's actually the surgeon who did my surgery. He's my co-founder today. He's a board-certified plastic surgeon, and our products are used for people who go beyond, who resonate with my personal situation, anything from acne scars to surgical scars. A lot of our demographic is actually like moms with C-sections, so I mean, scarring is just something that doesn't discriminate. It happens to everyone, so we just hope to make a better, more comfortable product for people.
I got started in a serendipitous way. I was in oil and gas. My former boss saw my signature and said, "Mary, I can see that on a perfume bottle." And 3 years it was a reality. 3 years it became my reality. And I went about it in a different way. I was just like, okay, what problem can I solve? And the problem I can solve was women were telling me all the time, Mary, I just want a softer fragrance. I'm always leaving a trail behind. It's not intentional. So if I could have a skin scent, that's what I would want in a product, and then set out to create that.
Sorry, I was like, give it back.
My aha moment came around like 2017. I just exited my last company, and I was just looking for something to do, and I was going to a lot of concerts. Seeing people wearing eyelashes around me was a huge aha moment for me to say, wait, there's literally a market where I can see the customers. Let me just go ask them what's their problem with it. So I literally went around the concert, and I did that many, many times over the year. And there was a really reoccurring pain point of people not liking what they're wearing. And for me, that's a huge white space to build a product in. There really wasn't a lot of people innovating in the eyelash category, at least for the last 20 years. And in recent years, you're gonna see a little bit more innovation, but when we started back in 2017, it was the same strip lashes that you see at CVS and Walgreens, and there's really nothing too much after that. So our product really came in from the customers. We came in from serving people, serving my friends, trying to test and trial different products over a period of 6 months, and also starting with $500 was a great challenge for me because you have to learn how to be really scrappy. We got really lucky with TikTok. So 2017 was really when Musical.ly turned to TikTok, and it went from an app of people dancing and lip syncing to brands making content. And so I think there's some luck involved with starting businesses. Sometimes you can start the right business at the wrong time, and I think we did it at the right time and right place. And that's really how we got started.
So how I was studying is that I was in Thailand and the pandemic hit. I was struggling with acne-prone, hypersensitive skin, while my mom had hyperpigmentation, as I mentioned. And we have a need to treat our skin at home while med spa was like collapsing, everything had to shut down. Then I bought like this kind of light therapy that was in the market at that time. And that time it was either $40 or $4,000. And I think that there was lack of combined light that I was experiencing in Asia. In the United States market, it only has red and blue, but in Asia, it has green that cures inflammation, yellow that brightens up skin. That's why I want to bring that to the market so that we can have multiple versatile skin conditions curing. And when I pre-launched it, I chose Amazon to do things differently from my family members who only have the business in Asia or in the country. I believe that CPG has a power to distribute products globally. And the reason why I choose this country because I believe that United States have a power of voice to amplify it to a global brand. And when I pre-launch it, there are organic reviews from customers that they change their skin like before and after. And with that naivete and conviction, I moved all the way here to United States to build this.
Can you guys hear me okay? If I don't use the MacBook, so you guys can keep it. So we, now we have a kind of an idea of how they get started and what they have, come so far at the very beginning. Let's dive into the middle part of the journey. What is the, in the spirit of the ugly talk, what is the ugliest challenge that you can share with the audience today, and more importantly, how did you guys overcome it? We want to start with the toxic one first.
I feel like I woke up this morning, my website was broken, so spent all day doing that, and then came here, so I feel really not anxious at all. But I'd say one of the biggest challenges, in the beginning when we were in the product development phase, I got super excited about our tape dispenser sample. And I just kind of looked at it, didn't play with that much. I was like, okay, looks great. Let's order a bunch of units. So order 10,000 units, and they get here and they don't open. And the latch was too prominent, I guess. So I'm like, what the fuck? I can't sell any of these to customers. Obviously, you're not going to be able to use it. So the problem solving, I literally sat in a garage and sanded down 10,000 dispensers to make sure that they were sellable and that the customers would have a good experience with using it. So
how long did it take you to sand it down? 10,000 units?
Weeks. Yeah, yeah, it took a long time. So that was a little bit of a delay in our launch, but we're here now.
So 2025 was a tumultuous year. Again, I did almost lose my business this year. I was moving way too fast. I wanted it all and that I could have it all this year. One of my hires was an agency who sold me the Earth, Moon, and Stars and said, we can get you into any store you want, just name it. Sign the contract. Do not do this. Sign the contract without my lawyer. And that bit me in the butt at the end. Look at you. Yes, that was what my mother did when I had to explain it to her. So at the end of at the end of the contract, 6 months in, no contract signed, they said, hey, by the way, you signed a perpetual commission deal, which means any store that we introduced you to by email, you have to pay and if you get in on your own, because I was aggressive, I was like, well, I'm not gonna do it with you, I'm gonna get it on my own. Any store that we emailed, you close, you owe a commission on that for the life of the deal. And so I was like, well then I've gotta close my company down, because that's not affordable when you scale. Think about staff, think about product, think about rising costs, think about tariffs, and now you owe a company that sent an email. Had to get lawyers involved, and the lawyer said, whew, this is emotional. The lawyer said, you know, at the end of it, it's going to get nasty. In your contract that you did not read and signed, the litigation has to happen in California. We're in New York. And the price is going to double. And I was like, oh my God, that's gonna kill my company. So she sat me down and she's like, hey, you have to humble yourself and talk to them and say, and compel to their heart and just say, hey, what can I do to get out of this? The contract is over, but how do I get out of this perpetual commission deal? And by the grace of God, I don't really know, I humbled myself, and there are 2 stores out of 2,000 that I can't go to. So it worked out, grace of God, and just being humble, thank you. Being humble is the lesson there. And just saying and compelling to their heart and their softer side, I got out of that. Most people are not that lucky, but it happened to me that way. I'd say the lesson there is to bring your lawyer to every deal you sign, no matter how big. And to, for the founders in the room, I would say, do not go into the room alone, because they're going to appeal to your passion, they're going to appeal to the art of your craft, and because they know that, they're not going to appeal to the business side. You need someone who is the artsy, excited person, and also the person that can be like, what are the numbers, what can you guarantee? Someone who's level-minded.
I think that's a very hard pill to swallow, actually, you know, for like a startup scrappy founders like ourselves, because you know, I used to work in large corporations, and when we work with agencies or suppliers, we make them do backflips. You know, instead of, in your cases, they actually come, you have to be humbled almost to a point of like begging them to allow you to get out of that agreement, right? That's not.
But it worked out. It worked out. But thank you.
I feel like I know the firm that you're talking about. We'll talk about it after.
Afterwards, you guys get to.
No, I've seen that contract before. I think the ugly side of the beauty business is really in the attention. You know, if you look around, if you're a girl, you look into your makeup bag, there's 12 different brands that you're using, and you're most likely rotating some brands out after you finish it up. You're buying a new brand from TikTok, you're buying a new brand from Amazon. So as a brand, you're really just fighting for the attention, and the attention is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. That, I think, is the most challenging part of starting a brand, is that there's not that much brand loyalty now if you're a startup, because if you're the fresh kid on the block, they want to try you out, and most of the time, you're gonna have to fight really, really hard to capture their attention and get them to come back. You're offering them a bigger discount, you have to launch new product, you have to do new collabs. I think the most challenging part that we had on top of that was trying to control the cost of marketing. You know, I think cost of marketing is rising over the last few years, predominantly due to 2 things. Number 1 is the platform changes. You know, when I first started back in 2017, there wasn't a algorithm that dictates what people want. If you send a piece of marketing to people, they will see it. Now, if you send it, it's buried with 100 other brands that's trying to get their attention. The second thing is just people's appetite for something new. It is constantly changing. People's again, attention is constantly changing, and so you as a brand have to fight really, really hard to make sure that they come back and they trust you. And there's a lot of things to do for that that we can get into later on, but I would say, I don't think as long as you start, people will come. You have to build a great product first and foremost as a core, but you also need to create a moat around you to differentiate yourself against other people. It's easier than ever before to start a brand right now. Like tomorrow you can go on a supplier website, white label a cream and sell it by next week. You can easily do that. And with that comes with level playing field. I think that's great. I think back in the day, a lot of conglomerates has a lot more power to launch products, and consumers have to just eat it up. Now everyone can start a company. So it's great, but it also creates a new kind of evil that we have to battle.
So my ugly point was it's kind of similar, but like more demure. Yeah. So I was in a transition of packing all my products in my apartment, and there's come Black Friday, which I didn't expect the sales to be like that huge, that I need the 3PL. And I was choosing between 2 3PL choices. One that has higher price and another is cheaper. And I have a mentor, and he's great. He built a unicorn company. He told me that go with the cheapest. And all advice was right, but not this case. So I chose the cheapest one, and the goal of this 3PL, not only for fulfillment, is for global distribution, because we have collaborated with influencers outside of the United States that got us tractions to sell our products outside of the United States. And that is the goal. And the 3PL said that, yes, we've done that. They mentioned the name of the third party that is going to help us distribute internationally. Then I signed the contract, and then I have to be the one finding a third party for my company to ship internationally. And it took like months of that due diligence of what's the right partner. I have to be the one who got them a partner with international fulfillment. So that was like the ugly side, that maybe I should have chose the higher price one for more quality.
It's all very, very tough, situation that you guys have gone through. So you are apparently still keep going. Why? Why that you don't want to quit? Well, what's it that keep you guys going?
So I think for me, I think I was lucky too that I saw a reference of my cousin who's a dermatologist who grew something from a personal loan from my parents during college, that he went to medical school from personal loan. Then he grew his med spa to an empire, grew to more than 70 clinics across Thailand and Southeast Asia, and exit. Then I saw that as a great reference in my inner self. And I took that to like overcome everything that I know I can do it too, because I've seen someone and touch and feel how he have accomplished that. And I think that's my grit.
So the question was, what kept me going, right?
Yeah, what kept you going?
I went almost bankrupt twice in the last 11 years of being in business. I started when I was 16 years old. Around that time, I never took outside funding. We just tried to make it work, and was very scrappy in the process. And the challenge of being scrappy is that you're almost always just above water, unless you have a huge point of momentum and you have a lot of cash coming in, which at some point we did. But business is never an upward trend, right? Like, there's always ups and downs. It's very, very natural to have that. Despite going through 2 bankruptcies, or almost going through 2 bankruptcies, I knew that I didn't want to go back to school. And so that was one thing. The other thing was, with my resume, I don't think I can get a job. I'm just naturally not someone that's very hireable. I think great founders are really, really hard to hire as employees. And just those 2 points make me go, well, I can't make it here. I should probably get back up on my feet and try it again. And I think you should always judge people based on how they got back up rather than their success. It's very easy to have success. It's very easy to have a win here and there, but it's really hard to fail many, many times in getting back up. So I look at that quote a lot to myself, and I'm like, you know what? I fell many, many times. What's one more? Like, that can't really hurt. And that's what kept me here.
And how old are you now?
28.
Please.
I always wanted to ask that question.
Can't tell.
For me, it's twofold. So I read the reviews. I read every single one of them, and that keeps me going. The other part of it is there's something innate in me. I want to know what I am capable of, and I'm like relentless with this brand. That legal thing almost took me out, but I was just like, there's nothing that you're going to say to get me out. If I have to turn this around into a new business, I will do that. I was pretty, like, with my teeth. I was like, whatever you say, I don't care. It's not gonna matter. I'm gonna get back up regardless. So that's for me. I'm like, ha.
I think one of the main things that keeps me going is our customers and all the things that they've been through. We get emails of people who've been through domestic violence situations, military situations, disease, and just always like, it's very emotional, and they're just looking for help and looking for comfort. And I think that, I want to be someone who can help people and improve people's lives. So I think that that's what keeps me going, and just being a problem solver is in my nature. So I mean, like Jason said, like what's one more problem? I'm always willing to get up and solve something. And I mean, it's an everyday thing. Like you said, business is not always on the up. It's up and down. That could be like on an hourly basis. You get one good email, and then you get a bad phone call, and you get a good phone call, and you get a bad email. So you just have to learn how to manage your expectations and be really passionate about what you're doing, because it's not going to be easy.
So, quick question, funny question here. Have you guys, especially go back to Jason's point about, the attention span is so short now. Have you guys been doing TikTok dances to keep people's attention?
Hell no.
No,
not at all.
Are you dancing? All right, so that's gonna lead me to the next question. So, at the beginning, we are small brands. It's not like a L'Oreal or Estée Lauder. How did you get your brand name out there without doing TikTok dance?
Oh man. I mean, I really feel like this year is, we launched in 2023. And this year is the year that I finally feel like what we've been doing is working. We're finally gaining traction. So that's like 2 years before this that like we were like really like hustling and trying to figure out every angle, like how do we speak to one customer without making someone feel left out? Like how do we, because our market is so broad. There's so many people that have scars. There's so many different types of scars. There's so many different ways to heal a scar. So many different ways that people heal. And I feel like that was a challenge for us for the first 2 years. It's like, who are we talking to? How are we talking to all of these people? How do we make everyone feel like that there's a resource for them within our product? So I feel like, I don't know, a lot of social media. I'm not a TikTok fan in general, and that may be like a fault of my own. But
unfortunately, our camera stopped recording midway through this incredible panel discussion. I know. What a great way to represent the ugliness of startups than a failed camera, right? Well, while I'm disappointed we missed capturing the rest, I still wanted to share the panel discussion recordings we got so far. And here I want to highlight a few key insights from the remainder of the discussion for you. Plus, stay tuned for individual deep dive interviews with each panelist that I recorded beforehand. So, what did you miss? After Jadis was cut off, he explained the trial and error of finding the right niche, product positioning, and messaging. Mayer emphasized that even for CPG founders, LinkedIn is an effective platform that shouldn't be overlooked. Jason shared a clever trick, building a separate blog for product reviews that drove organic traffic to his brand. And as for IC, she leaned into her identity as a female founder and immigrant to connect with relatable influencers, prioritizing authentic relationship building that sparked organic growth. We also talked about funding and financials. All speakers unanimously agreed you need to know your numbers inside and out. These founders took different approaches to fundraising because some product categories simply aren't the right fit for venture capital. So raising from family, friends, or angels can be a better option. They also warn about being cautious of predatory lenders and taking on excessive debt. I'm grateful for everyone who showed up that day. One audience question really stood out to me. How do you build community rather than just rely on influencers? Jadis shared that he employed a dedicated social media account and invited people with scars to share their personal stories. The heartfelt videos people shared created a powerful community. But here's the catch. That account eventually got blocked for alleged content violations. The key lesson? Own your platform whenever possible to avoid being at the mercy of algorithm changes. Alright, I hope you enjoyed the recording. Stay tuned for the individual interviews with these incredible speakers and subscribe for more conversations featuring defiant voices of those who are building something meaningful on their own terms, whether that's a company, a career, or a life. See you in the next one.